Dale Earnhardt Jr. 9th in the Daytona 500, 40th on the board right now with his car in the garage after being caught up in Casey Mears' spin, a wreck that has also taken Sam Hornish and Reed Sorensen's cars to the garage.
Tony
this is
Sr.
from Jeff Burton.
You know, Larry, when I looked at that, it looked like something happened to that car that made it shoot up the hill like that.
Yeah, it looked like it did that little wiggle wobble there in the middle of the corner. And of course, what we have to stress is that's happening even in the middle of the corner, probably close to 170 miles per hour.
From the Goodyear blimp. And here's Dick Berggren.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr., you've looked the entire car over, looking in particular at the frame. Can the car be fixed? Can you get back out there?
Yeah, we'll try to go. At this point, we were just trying to sit there and chill. I don't know, the track's real dirty and guys just sliding all over the place and just a dirty old racetrack out there. So Casey got turned around and I don't know, it's frustrating.
Looks like it was an awfully hard hit. Are you okay?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm all right. Casey turned over, but he's probably one we ought to be worried about. But just frustrating, man. The track ain't ready today. It was dirty, and we rushed into this. It was a bad move.
Okay, thank you, Junior.
Casey Mears is okay. He climbed from the car under his own power. This is the car that caught fire under the hood, the 77 Penske Dodge of Sam Hornish. After the cars had come to rest while the drivers were still in them, flames erupted. Quick work by the safety crews as the drivers rushed out to safety. Let's go down to Jeff Hammond for today's State Farm Safety Report.
As we've just seen, the first line of defense when it comes to fire has to be the fire suit, gloves, any kind of shoes, helmets, anything like that to protect the driver himself. But there's also a second and a third line of defense inside the race car themselves. If you look very closely, these white bottles right beside the driver's seat, these are the onboard fire extinguishers that the driver can use in the event of a fire. This is a 5-pound bottle that is used to protect him inside. Now, if the heat gets too hot or a driver gets knocked a little bit, maybe rattled, it will automatically deploy. And that means it would be putting out the new DuPont FE36 or an equivalent agent, or they can also manually fire this fire extinguisher if they feel like there is a need. Also, for the rear part of the car, you'll notice this larger bottle. This is a 10-pound FE36 DuPont agent that goes all the way into the trunk of the car. Now, this is designed so that in the event of a hard lick to the back end of the car, like we saw the flames a minute ago, when it happened on the 77 car, when the flames erupted, in case the 5 car needed it, you'll notice all of a sudden there is an extinguisher head here in the trunk area, so that if this fuel cell, for some reason, were to get ruptured, catch on fire, it would automatically extinguish this fire and help prevent any kind of injuries. Guys, we know fire is the one thing that drivers cannot deal with, and today we saw a lot of good response, not only by the safety equipment, but the safety workers.
Thanks, Jeff. We're under the red flag at 21 laps here in Fontana.
And you could see as they take the 77 away, what he did is he knocked the carburetor off the thing.
Yeah.
So that's what caught it on fire. And that looks like is that a former driver?
Looks like he is.
He is a former driver. I
He
remember
raced in the SCCA.
Well, I remember seeing him in Days
I was
of
thinking
Thunder
Days
myself.
of Thunder. Cole Trickles, who I was thinking of.
Where's Harry Hogg?
Now, Denny Hamlin brought out the first caution flag of the day for his trip into the wall in turn 3, and Dick Berggren spoke to Denny in the garage.
Denny Hamlin, you've just watched this big crash. Your crew is working on your car. Can you get it back in the race?
Yeah, I'm sure we can get it back out there, but I think there's 42 other drivers that would agree that we should not be racing on that racetrack right now. I hit a slick spot, and that's why my car took off. You know, you can see it. You can really even see it on TV, and right at the seams, it's seeping a lot of water. My car just took off. I hit a wet spot, and I'm not going to be the last one, I'm sure. I mean, it's may not exactly been the cause of that crash. I don't know, but I know it was the cause of ours.
Okay, Denny Hamlin in the garage.
So thanks, Dick, and that corrects what we said earlier, that he did appear to cut down a tire And that was the analysis by his spotter, Curtis Markham, on the roof. But as Denny just said, he hit one of those seams and the car just took off on him.
Yeah, it's just like the 5 car. I'm not so sure what happened to him. He didn't just get up high by himself.
Now, they were working on the 11 car, but the NASCAR rules, when the red flag comes out, all work has to cease on race cars. You can't work on anything in the garage area or on pit road.
Back to the garage, Dick Berggren.
And Reed Sorensen is in the garage. Helmet is still on. His crew is surrounding this car with tools. They're all ready to go back to work again. Reed behind the wheel still with his helmet on. What's the racetrack look like to you?
That's okay. It's pretty dusty when they had to put all the oil dry down, but I don't think that caused the wreck or anything. I didn't really even see what happened, but just hate it for this blue Energizer car. It was running pretty good. The track seems to be about the same as it was in practice yesterday, but we'll get it back out there and just try to make some laps.
Several different views of the condition of the racetrack, Mike.
Well, and Sorensen was coming off a string of top 5 finishes that included the Budweiser Shootout, the Gatorade Dual qualifying race, and the Daytona 500, in which he finished 5th.
As I look at this car, I was looking at the A post right there, and I noticed how much paint is already knocked off of there, like it's been sandblasted from the sand and dirt and debris that's out there on the racetrack.
I'd say you're right, Darrell. That's exactly what it looks like.
And look at the windshield there. I mean, we've run 21 laps, and that windshield looks like it's been run all day.
The Santa Ana winds out here blow all the time, and usually it is dry and a bit dusty. We did have to put down speedy dry for Michael Waltrip's oil leak before this race got the green, and we've had a lot of rain here over the past 3 days.
And what I saw in the garage area there, Reed Sorensen's crew, Jimmy Elledge, and that whole group, they're making a plan. And just like I mentioned, they can't go to work on that car. They can lay tools out, they can lay parts out, they can look underneath like that. You just cannot physically start work on the car.
Back in the 70s, you could change engines during a race, and I remember was Buddy Parrott the crew chief, Darrell, for you, when during a red flag they laid everything out so they could change that engine when the yellow came out. And how quickly did they get that changed for you?
11 minutes.
To change an engine.
Change the engine.
Gosh.
It was at Martinsville, and we finished 10th.
And that rule has been changed. You have to end the race with the same cylinder block that you start the race, because guys were starting to get burnt and hurt trying to change engines this quick.
Good thing. Casey Mears has been checked at the Infield Care Center and released. So everyone involved in that crash is okay. Here's your AT&T race break. Go inside the world of Richard Childress Racing with special features on Jeff Burton and the number 31 team exclusively on your AT&T handset. Or visit att.com/CV. Chris?
All right, thanks, Mike. With Jeff Hammond here at the Hollywood Hotel, up from the Ford Cutaway car. And, well, different views on the racetrack from Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, even Reed Sorensen. What's your view of things so far?
Well, it's chaotic. I mean, it's like I said early on, we didn't know what to expect. Some of the guys are blaming the racetrack. Other guys are maybe just the cars are not quite like they need to be. But you can see carrying the speed around here, when something happens, it usually winds up being pretty big.
All right, well, let's just recap in case you tuned in late, which was actually early because we had a rain delay of more than 2 hours. They dried the track before we actually got going. As you can see, they got the jet dryers out here to try and make sure the 2-mile track was ready to go. A loose oil line causing the oil leak in the 55 of Michael Waltrip. That was before they actually started the race, trying to correct the problem for Michael. And once we got to racing with Jimmy Johnson on the pole, Matt Kenseth, who's won this race the last 2 times they've run this time of year, overheating, had to pit and went a lap down. And you heard Denny Hamlin talking about hitting a wet spot and a tire problem on lap 21, bringing out a caution as he went into the wall. On that caution, Matt Kenseth got his lap back. And then moments ago, the red flag coming out after, keep your eye on Rick Mears, or I should say Casey Mears, who is the nephew of 4-time Indy 500 winner Rick Mears, and then Dale Earnhardt Jr. into him, and then eventually Sam Hornish in the 77 car, and out come the flames.
Yeah, this is where things really get ugly right here. 77 car literally goes up underneath the 5, picks him up and over. Shortly after that, things got real interesting because it caught on fire. Krista, what's going on?
Out of the care center, Sam Hornish has walked out, and Sam, it looked ugly out there. Were you able to see the 5? What happened?
Basically, I was in the middle of 2 other cars. We were, racing 3 wide and coming off the corner, and saw the smoke up ahead of me before the spotter could even get it out of his mouth that there was somebody spinning, and there was nowhere to go either way, and the 41 car got slowed down, and I hit the back of him, and it pushed the hood up, and I couldn't see anywhere nor steer the car anymore either. So we were kind of along for the ride at that point in time, and then obviously hit the 5, and the front of the car started on fire. So not a very good day for the Mobil 1 Dodge, but we're out here trying to get as much experience as we can, moving forward, being a rookie, competitor, and obviously this doesn't help us out much, but we'll shake it off, go to Las Vegas next week and see if we can't do better.
Thanks, Sam. Glad you're okay.
All right, thank you, Krista. 4 cars involved, as Mike Joy pointed out. All the drivers are okay, and we also have Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car. Can he repair his car and get back into it? I think Dick Bergman has more on that. Dick?
Yeah, look at all this stuff, Chris. This is all from Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s team. They've got all the sheet metal need to rebuild the car. A mechanic just walked by me with a couple of lower control arms. Those are major, big, heavy suspension pieces. They are ready to totally rebuild this car and get Earnhardt back in the race.
All right, let's get a quick update on Casey Mears as we check out the action here, Jeff. Let's check in actually with Krista, who is with Casey Mears. Krista?
Yeah, Chris, still down here at the Care Center. Casey Mears has come out. Casey, looked like you got the worst end of that. Are you okay? And what happened?
Yeah, we just got a little bit loose getting down into 1. I don't know. A couple times I hit the water. There's the upper seam still seeping a good bit of water, and I hit it quite a bit down in 3 and 4. It was a little bit worse down there, and there was a little bit down in 1 and 2. And right as I got to the bottom, I got loose, and I don't know if it was right about the time I crossed that seam. I don't know if that was the reason or not, but I hadn't been real loose, and that time I was. And we about had it saved. It just kind of brushed the back end, brushed the wall, and unfortunately we had to come back across the track, and all the cars are coming by, and I just saw in the medical center there that it was I think it was Junior that we ended up hitting, which is very unfortunate for our team, but it's just tough now. I mean, we between Daytona and now here, we're down in the points, and fortunately it's the first couple races of the year, and we got a lot of them to get it back, but it's definitely not the way you want to start the season.
You survived that first hit, and then you get kind of crunched. How was that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure guys are scattering. I mean, it's hard to say why that happened. I mean, we were about stopped. I didn't get to see the full replay, but obviously, when something like that happens, guys are going everywhere just trying to get away. And I don't know why Sam ended up where he was, but when everybody's scattering, you never know what's going to happen.
That's Casey Mears.
All right, thanks, Krista. And 21 laps in. Jeff, let's go back, if we could, to Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his car getting repaired to be able to get back into this race.
Well, I think Dick pretty much summarized what's going on right now. They've got a game plan. They feel like they can, fix this car, make the necessary changes to the lower control arms that were damaged. The body parts look like they're pretty much laid out and ready to go. So these guys do a really good job of being prepared. So once they go back green, or I should say, once they have the racetrack back under caution instead of red flag, they'll be able to go back to work. So it'll kind of work out in their favor. They've got a game plan. They're all sitting there studying it. NASCAR officials, you see him standing there in the black uniform, talking to the crew members.